What's up, tubers? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight. Boat is in the shop. Got no live fishing going on. Just gave you guys the update on the winter baits. If you guys missed that one, make sure you go check that out. It should help you guys out. But tonight, we're just going to keep on with our lake breakdowns for Lake Fork. Talk about all the different things we found. We're now on our final video for Lake Fork. I found all kinds of good stuff. Pond dams, shell beds, road beds, all kinds of good stuff. Let's go check it out. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump back into Lake Fork. If you've missed the previous videos, we have spent a lot of time down here in the Caney Creek. So Big Caney, Little Caney, this whole area down here we've covered. We also went all the way up the east side of the lake here and covered all of this area up in here on our last video. So that was like our third video. And I think we're now on our fourth or fifth video, I think. Heck, I can't even keep track. But the last time that we ended on Highway 2946, or sorry, FM 2946, right here at these ramps. So that's where we're going to start tonight. If you've never seen any of my lake breakdown videos before, over here on the left-hand side, I've got it broken down by a couple different categories. And this is really just going to depend on the lake, on what the lake offers us. But in this case, we've got channels and ditches. So let me pull this back real quick. See all these little green tracks that you see? These are the channels and ditches. And the cool thing about this is when I pull up here, let's say we go up in here to coffee, when the water's down like this, I'm able to mark exactly where that creek channel is, which is huge when you're fishing. So that's one thing that really helps with all these points. We've also got lots of different cover that's out there, whether that be bridges, pillars, rocks, stumps, laydowns, things I don't even know what they are, culverts, just all kinds of different stuff out throughout the lake. We've also got fish attractors. These are the Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors, where they have put those out there. Those are really good areas to find crappie. They're also great areas to find bass as well. I've got a whole bunch of different offshore hotspots out here for you guys to take a look at. If I move this date back, you'll see them all. We've got a ton of them that are out there for you to look at. Those are really, a lot of those are places I've fished before. So those are going to be really good spots for you guys to find. We've also got ramps out there. So lots of different ramps on Lake Fork, whether they be personal ramps or marina ramps. But if you can get on a boat ramp pattern at certain times of the year, you definitely will have plenty of ramps on Fork to fish. We've also got road beds, ditches, and ponds. There's a lot of different ponds that are out here, old sunken ponds that are money to fish during the at least during the summertime. That's kind of when I focus them on the most. But there's also some ditches out here and some other things that I want you guys to take a look at, road beds, stuff like that. And last but not least, believe it or not, there's actually some areas on Fork that there's a little bit of rock, whether that be rock right up on the shoreline, so you got to get really close to it and the water's got to be up, or whether that be a rock pile or something like that we were able to find when we drew the water down. So with all of that, let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's go ahead and select all of these, and I'm going to move this over, and we are going to jump in this thing. So as you remember from any of the previous videos, if you watched them, we pulled the water all the way up to 2022. The problem that we have on Google Earth is that when we get just past 515, the image does not give us a 2022 image. It's still stuck back in, I have no idea what time. So really the only dates that we had where we could see when the water was down here is we had to come back up here and move it back to, I think it was 2014 or 2015. And that was when we started getting where the water was starting to get down low. It's actually not even that. Let's see if I can get a little bit further. Maybe in 2012. Yeah, it was 2012. So we had to go way back to get the water down again. So let's look at it for 2012. And when we get to 515, I'm going to move this thing back up to 2022 and we'll get a lot better image. So there's really not a lot over here for me to mark for you guys anyways. We had a couple ramps. So here's 2946. I'm going to keep coming down the west side here, southwest side. So we got a couple ramps there. You do have a Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor that's right out here. So you definitely want to go look at that. And then you just got a couple more boat ramps back here. I'm not saying this isn't a good area to fish because it definitely could be. You got a nice little creek that's coming back through here as well. So maybe fishing right around in this area could be good. Um, there could be a lot of other good things in here, but as far as things for me to mark for you, I just really didn't see too much back there. But I would definitely, if I'm going back here to check out these ramps, or if I'm just coming back here just to check it out, I'm gonna be fishing around this little area where this little culvert is for sure. All right, so let's keep going back. I didn't realize it too, but you got a couple decent little creeks that kind of come back in here. There's one little creek right in there, and there's another one that comes right back in here that I didn't mark. So this could have some potential too. That little dock right there. So for those of you watching that need a little secret spot, that could be definitely a good spot to go look at. If that creek channel comes up, but it looks like it does, it looks like it swings right by that dock. So let's keep moving on. We've got a boat ramp that's over here as well. So you can take a look at that boat ramp. And then I think moving down, I didn't see too much except for right here. We've got another pond dam. So here's the pond in 2012. This is what it would look like in 2013. That looks like the water's probably pretty close to being full pool there. It's actually a little bit low there. But anyways, you can tell the pond dam is pretty well covered. So if you could get over and fish around the outsides of these things, they can be very, very productive. So let's keep moving on up. One other thing that you may want to look at too when you're over here is notice how everything changes right here off of this point. It looks like maybe it's different kind of dirt. I don't know if it's harder here, if there's shell here, or what is going on here, but notice how that point's a different color than everything else around it. It might be worthy of just scanning around here and just seeing if there's anything off this point. I didn't notice that when I was breaking it down last time, but that's pretty obvious when you look at it in 2012. So then let's keep moving on down. We're going to see right here, we've got a couple more ramps, and now we're back to 515, and we're going to get some really good imaging. So let's move this back to 2022 now. Notice the difference. Look, it's like a straight line. So I didn't mention it here, but you do have a Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor out here. Now, right outside the FM 17 public boat ramp, you've got a fish attractor that's right out here as well. And I've seen people fish those, crappie fishermen fishing, but you could definitely want to check it out as a bass fisherman as well. Also, just down south of where that ramp is, there's a pretty decent little ditch that comes through here. And those bass like to collect in those areas sometimes. So not saying it's a great hot spot, but it's definitely a spot that I would go check out. You got some standing timber there, so there could be some potential there. You've got some boat ramps that are here as well. Another ditch back in here. Let me zoom out, kind of keep you guys up to date on where I'm at. So that's 515. Come over here, we've got a pond dam. You guys know I like these pond dams, so we'd definitely be checking that one out. And these points are good too. Like this little point right here, looks like it's got some debris on it, maybe some tires and stuff mixed in with some trees and stumps and stuff like that. That could be a great little point to fish off of. I don't know if it's marked as an offshore spot, but now looking here at this pond and seeing that right in there would definitely be a good spot. Moving over here, we get off the edges of these things. And I think I put shell last time when this was back when I actually marked it in 2014. So let's see what it looks like in 2014. We were looking at it before. Yeah, I think it's right there, 2013 or 2020, 2012. 2012 is very bright. 2013, you can tell there's some remnants of something. So I would say check in this area for shell beds. It's not as obvious here in 2022. If you're wondering if those white things are shell beds, those are not shell beds. Those are birds. But the little white sprinkles all along here, that could possibly be some shells. So I'd check out that point. And then over here, you've got another spot where it could be building too, where you could have some possible shell just right in that one spot. You can see it right here. It's a lot brighter than everything else. Then as we move on down, we got some pretty good little pockets and things. We got some ramps down here. Ramps. We got some laydowns. Let's go down and pull down in here and check a look at this one. This is actually a really big bundle of laydowns, a lot bigger than anything else. You see a lot of standing timber on fork, and you do see a lot of laydowns, but sometimes you get like these giant, almost brush piles worth of laydowns. That's one of them right there, so definitely look at that. You do have some shallow rock here. Might be forever before we ever get to fish that rock with the lake being down so low, but there is rock there. There's actually a little more rock off that tip as well. Then we've got a couple more boat ramps. There's a boat ramp there. There's one here. And then, of course, we got an old pond dam that's right here. So this looks really good. And you got a little cover over here. This right in here, like this little edge right in here. You can see that being a good spot to find a donkey. Then also moving down here, we got another pond. These pond dams are cool. And let's go ahead and move these back. Let's show you guys again what these look like. So as I'm getting to these pond dams, show you where I'm at. There's 515. I haven't made it around to the main point yet. Here's those two ponds. This is 2022. This was back before they took all the water away. So this one you can see, you can still see the top of the pond dam here. This one's kind of gone. You can't really tell it's even there, but both of those look really good. Let's see if we can go back to 20, get a cleaner image here. This is back in 2020, and now they're totally covered up. You don't even know they're there. So anyways, just really good spots to go take a look at. You've got some more out here, another pond that's out here. So we'll draw it back to 2022 and you'll see it. This one's a little deceiving. You would have thought it was going to be out here, but it's a little bit further in, and then it's right in this area. Notice how you've got some brush right in here as well. So that brush could be good too, especially if the water, if the water's up high enough, obviously. Then keep moving on up. There is some more rock that's actually out here off of this point. This point looks really interesting because you've got rock right here. And then I don't know if this is an old pond or what it is, but it clearly is something that's a lot deeper in this area than anywhere else. So I would say go out there, take a look at this and see if you can find anything relating to that point just right in here or the backside of whatever the heck this thing is. I've never gone out there and fished that. I found it on the imaging. I still just need to go out and have time to check it. But someday I'm going to go out there and check that, and I'll be able to let you guys know if it's any good or not. These could be potential like little ponds in here too. I just can't tell. So you could check these as well, both of those. And then I didn't catch it the first time, but there's a nice little like hook right there that they could relate to as well. And there's a boat ramp back there. So I missed a couple things there. So definitely go look at it. But the most interesting one to me is right here. This is clearly very deep water, like a really deep pond or something. And maybe this is the old pond dam that's right here. Moving on up, we're going to get over here by FM17. Just some things I wanted you to look at. One, we got the ramp here, but I did want you to check this. This looks like some kind of old pipe or something. I have no idea what it is, but fish like to relate to crazy stuff, so definitely go look at that. We got another pond dam that's back here as well. Looks like it has a little bit of rock on the top of it. This one was kind of interesting. I had to play around with the imaging a little bit and kind of see, okay, is this legit or not? But it totally looks legit. There's something down there. When the water's up, you can see right here when the water's up, and this is, it looks like the water's down and maybe a little bit in this image, but there's a boat that's back there fishing around there. So I would definitely say look right in this little spot in here. You've also got that pond that's up there, the pond dam basically right here. This, whatever this is, some kind of cover in here. So this could be good. All right, so keep moving on. You might want to check this little point that comes out here too. I didn't mark anything because there wasn't anything for me to point out to you, but definitely a spot that you might want to look at. It's a lot different than everything else around it. I didn't see too much back here in this area, and obviously we're going to lose our 2022 imaging when we get too far back in here, but there was a Texas Park and Wildlife brush pile here, and then you've got some pretty decent little creek channels that are back here as well. Can't see them here because the image isn't being nice to us, but if I move that back again to 2013 or 2012, you'll be able to see that creek channel a lot better, and I've got it marked for you guys right there. So let's go back to 2022. That's still 2021. Got to get back over here to my image and hope it lets me come back. There we go. Back to 2022, and let's keep moving on. So here's FM17. We're going to come down here. We've got more ramps. So a couple more ramps to take a look at, some bigger marina docks to fish around. That's a good ramp to put in as well. That's Pope's Landing. That's a great place. Good place to go, especially if you're coming down here just to visit. They got a nice little hotel you can stay in, be right there on the lake. They got a nice little convenience store there. It's not a bad place to stay at all. Also have some brush piles that are out here off of this point. So if we come over here off this point, the point looks good. It looks like there might be some debris off the edge of the point too. But over on this side, look at all this brush stacked up right here, and there's some more of it right here as well. So brush, laydowns, whatever you want to call it, it looks pretty interesting to fish around. So then moving on down, didn't see too much. Obviously, there's going to be some offshore stuff here that we're going to point out when we get to the offshore side, like this right in here. Definitely would be a good offshore spot. Moving on down, I did see a bunch of laydowns that are out here. So like a big brush pile again, right out here. So, everybody's going to be fishing the standing timber, but if they only knew there was a big old brush pile just right there that they could be fishing as well. Then we're going to move on down. We got some ramps. Didn't see too much in here, just more ramps and ramps. Now, obviously, guys, there's good places to fish in here. You just got to be paying attention to what's going on. Anytime you get a bridge like this with a major creek coming in through the back of it, that's going to be a good bridge to fish around. So that whole area right in there would be a good place to fish around. And then, of course, we're going to look at the offshore hotspots, and there could be offshore spots in this area as well. Moving back here, we're going to lose our imaging again, but we do have a really nice little creek channel, actually 2 of them coming back here. You could fish around those in certain times of year. I could see that being very productive. And then we're going to switch over. We're going to come out of there, and we're going to come over here to this next little cove, Fisherman's Cove, Lake Fork Fisherman's Cove. And we're going to come down here. Again, we're going to get underneath 17. We got a really good creek channel back here. So lots of good bends and stuff like that to fish around. And what I really like about this one is it swings up really close to the bank. It's literally underneath that dock. It's underneath this dock and it's underneath that dock. So those 3 docks, I mean, heck, you could probably, on certain times of the year, you could probably win a tournament just fishing from here to here, maybe even stretch your way out even over here. Just fish that line of docks. That's going to be productive, especially from this dock to right in here. Those are going to be really good spots to take a look at. All right, so I'm going to zoom back. There's an old culvert down there as well, a sunken culvert. So you can see here's the old roadbed. So there's some stuff down there. I can't remember what's down in there or not, what's in there or not, but there is that culvert. You can see it right here. So you got to be really careful coming back here. You don't jack up your boat. Then we're going to keep moving on. Let's keep going. So we got some more ramps. Get back in here. There's a little creek that comes back here. Decent little creek channel. Nothing too crazy. I honestly would not really probably go back there unless it was like springtime. I'm looking for bedding fish. We've got some couple laydowns that are back here as well. There is some rock that's right up here. You can see it right along the edge of the shoreline. It's not much, so I'm not sure I'd go there and be like, oh, there's rock. That's not the big rock pile. The biggest one we saw was down there closer towards the dam. When you get right in here, though, there is a pretty decent little pond here. So you got a nice little pond dam, and there's a little ditch that comes right through here as well. You can't really see it in this image. You can see it in the other images. So I don't know if it's when it overflows, this is how it comes out or what, but let's draw that back. And now you can look at it this way. So potentially you could get back in there by just getting to this high side and getting over there, or getting to that low spot right there and just getting over. But right in there could be a really good spot to take a look at. All right, back to 2022. Pulling back out of here, coming out of Fisherman's Cove, getting back out more towards Main Lake. There's another pond dam right in here. Take a look at that one. A ramp that's right there as well. That one looks like it might be more private. Another pond dam back here. Another ramp. Some rock right here, just some shallow rock. Not a lot of it, but there is some rock. You can see it right here. So if the water would just come up, just please, if it could just rain a ton and we could get the lake back to being looking like that, then that rock becomes in play. And definitely maybe a spot that you want to take a look at. All right, so let's keep going on. Obviously, I'm probably going to mark that point, I would imagine, from an offshore standpoint. But just off the edge of that point is another pond dam. So it's right here. You can see it. Then we've got more rock, shallow rock, yes, but it is rock. So riprap rock, whatever you want to call it. And then we get out here, and this might be the first actual rock pile that I found. I hope it's rock. It looks like rock. Not a very big rock pile, but man, a rock pile off the edge of the point there, being really small as well. So most people aren't even going to notice that it's there. I would go take a look at that one. We've also got a ramp that's right here too. This is getting over here by the power plant, or whatever you want to call it, water supply. I don't know what this, I guess it's not a power plant, but it's some kind of Lake Fork water supply. Then we're going to move over here again. We're going to go through the offshore hotspots when we move over to Web App Navionics. So we'll talk about a lot of these points that you see here that I'm skipping over, but we'll definitely talk about those. But right now, we're just focused on what we can find from the Google Earth side. So we get into pond dam heaven back here. We got a pond dam that's right here. We got a levee or a pond dam, whatever you want to call it, right here. We got another pond, two pond dams back in here, another one right here. I mean, if you were on pond dams and that was a good pattern that you were running on Fork, and obviously, you got to get the weather or the water at a pretty decent level. This is another good area where you've got a lot of ponds. You got one down here. You've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6 right there. You got 2 more up here, so 7, 8. You got 8 pond dams, 9 pond dams within a very short area, travel distance. So if you're on that pattern in a tournament, this might be a really good area to focus in on. All right, so let's keep moving on back here. This pond dam's got a little creek that comes, or this pond area, cove, whatever you want to, pocket, whatever you want to call it. It's got a little creek that comes through here, so you can take a look at that. You've also got some more creeks that are back here. Pretty decent little channels that are back here. I mean, that's worthy of fishing right there. This one up here is not as good, but definitely the one in the far back in here. Really liked that one. All right, so let's keep moving out. Again, a lot of offshore stuff that's out here. Let's see how much we have to do. I think we can go ahead and we'll just finish this thing up. Let's finish out Fork right here. So as we get out more towards Main Lake, before we do that, there's some ramps that are in here. And then when we get out here by these docks, they've put some brush piles out here and they're exposed now. So there's one right there. There's another one right there. I'm sure those dock owners hate me for showing you guys that. All right. We've also got rock that's really shallow rock all the way up here, up along that seawall. So again, you've got to get the water back to full pool before that comes into play. There's some really good offshore stuff out here, guys. You can see it out here. You can see a little bit of it here as well. These are really good offshore areas. You can just tell by the way that they look. And this one especially has a lot of potential. And we'll talk about that. So let's keep moving down. We're going to get into ramp heaven. So ramp. You guys get what I'm saying. Here's all these ramps in here. Again, if you're on a great ramp pattern, I mean, you're gonna have a heyday. This would be a really good pocket to fish if you were on that ramp pattern, because you have so many ramps here, and most of them are like personal ramps. They're not big ramps that people are using or anything like that. There's also some big laydowns way back in here. So if you're on that laydown pattern, again, pretty good little pile of laydowns right here. Like that's almost a full-blown brush pile right there. Let's zoom back out. Let's get back out here to more towards the Main Lake. Love these points. I'm probably going to touch on them as far as the offshore stuff as well, but you can tell that there's some shell off the edge of this one. There's some possible shell off the edge of that one as well. And then we've got a couple more ramps that are down here too that you can take a look at. Again, another pond dam. So coming right off that point, let's see, here's the dam. So if you're trying to figure this out, we're going to come right up to there. That's where our pond dam is going to be. That one looks juicy. I like that one. I haven't fished that one before, but it's on my bucket list to fish for sure. We've got a lot of ramps coming down through here. Another pond dam that's back in here too, but I don't even know if you're going to be able to get to it. It's right back in there. Let's pull the water up and take a look at that. That looks interesting. It's a pretty decent little pond back there. It's hidden. Can't even tell it's back there. Yeah, I mean, if the water's up, you might be able to get back in there and mess around. That could be juicy. Man, we're finding all kinds of good stuff on Fork. It's making me want to go fish it right now. We got some more ramps that are right in here. Again, more ramps. Got a real good road bed that comes back through here. But these road beds, they can be juice, especially if you can find some rock or debris in certain areas of it. What I like about this road bed is it's got a creek channel that swings right up against it right here. So right in there would be a good spot to look at, or right in here as well. You've got another pond dam that's over here too. And again, you got that creek channel and a big old flat that's over here too. I really like that. All right, more ramps. I mean, a lot more. What, 5 or 6 more ramps right there in that little pocket? There's a decent little channel there. I couldn't mark them all because I'll max out your grass, but a pretty decent little channel that's right here as well. So let's keep moving on up and let's go. We don't see anything else in there. Not much in there. We do have a Texas Park and Wildlife brush pile that's just out here in the middle of nowhere, right there off the edge of that point. That can be good. I like the edge of this point. See that discoloration? I like that. This one's got the same thing. These points are going to be good. I think you guys have heard me talk about Lake Fork in the past, but pretty much if you just go fish all the points and just point to point to point to point on Lake Fork, you will run into fish. because it's just a great lake for points. At least for me, it is. We got a lot of ramps that are here as well. There's a little bit of rock back here. There's not a lot. Fork doesn't have a ton of rock, but there's a little bit of rock right in there. You've also got a ramp that's over here. Some more rock that's right around the edge of this thing. Then this looks super cool. Like how they got their dock here, and then it has a little bridge that goes underneath it. It looks like a hot mess from a fishing standpoint to get back there because of all this debris and stuff, but it's just a really cool thing. I mean, not really a good fishing spot, but there is some rock right here, and there's some more rock right up here around the main lake point. Might even have a little more right in there too. Definitely want to check this area. This looks like it could be possible shells too. So look in there. Those shell bed areas are just wonderful areas on Lake Fork. Coming back here, getting into this last little pocket, we got some more boat ramps that are back here. A lot of boat ramps. Let's zoom in and see what this rock is. It's probably not much. It's just a little bit of rock right off the edge of that tip. And then you can see right here, it looks like it might come out a little bit. So definitely look right in there and just see if there is rock there. I'm not positive there's rock there, but definitely check it out. Looking back in these pockets, not seeing much, but we do have a boat ramp here and another miniature pond right in here. I don't know if this one's going to be worthy of fishing or not, but you can check it out. And then we get over here, we're getting closer towards the dam. Again, a lot of these points are good points. I've fished some of these points, and they're really good. This point's a good point. That's a good point as well to fish. And we'll mark those. And then down here by the dam, you get down to the dam, they don't really have riprap. It's more that concrete slab. The dam is still a great place to find fish, though. It always is on any lake. And you got some riprap or some rock right here on the edge of the dam as well. Then that pretty much takes us back over here where we started, the Texas Park and Wildlife brush pile and the little point down by the dam. That is a great spot to fish as well. So that's where we're going to end at. I hope you guys have been able to enjoy these videos. Our next series for Lake Fork, we're going to come back. I'm going to bring out the Navionics on the mobile phone, and we're going to go through and we're going to talk about all the different offshore hotspots that I've marked for you guys. So please make sure to go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. You can pick up all these waypoints, plus it'll have the offshore waypoints on there. You take the card, you put it in your graph, and you're good to go. It'll change the way you fish. I promise you, it will make things so much simpler. So go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. And if you get a chance, check out our sponsor as well, Omnia Fishing. The link is in the description. Till next time, guys, I hope you guys catch your PB. Take it easy.